breathe, stop, for real. Give it what you got, just breathe, stop, for real. Give it what you got, give it on the block, keep making it hot. Give it on the block, keep making it hot. Give it on the block, keep making it hot. Give it what you got, keep it making it hot.
Okay, soldiers, the war may be pretty much over right now in terms of who won, but that doesn't mean we totally forget about the loser during these final few months. WCW had the world in their grubby little hands and they let it slip away. But even though we pretty much have our winner, these final few months of WCW are pretty crucial in telling the entire story. For that reason, I still want to check out what they're presenting on Wednesday nights, and hey, they've been really showcasing some good younger talent recently, and these young talents have been putting on some pretty decent matchups. So let's have a look at WCW Thunder from the 6th of December 2000 and we'll see what's happening. This video will fit into our timeline after episode 265 of Reliving the War, so make sure you check out that video first. And just on that note, Thunder is now being taped directly after Nitro as a way to save money and, well, save embarrassment due to nobody showing up for regular Thunder tapings. You may have noticed that the Nitro ring ropes have been blue for the past few weeks, and this is why. They are too lazy to replace the ropes between Thunder and Nitro tapings. Anyway, Ric Flair's here tonight, and Tony Jabroni says he's got a huge announcement. We'll hear what that announcement is right now. Scotty Steiner retired Stevie Ray 2 weeks ago on Nitro, but he's here on Thunder to reclaim his commentary spot. He wants Mark Madden to hit the bricks, but Madden isn't going to budge. Steiner's win over Stevie Ray was supposed to result in Stevie completely retiring from WCW, so this is possibly one of the shortest retirements in pro wrestling history. Ric Flair says he's a troubled man. On Monday night, he let something happen that never should have taken place, so he's going to make a few decisions for the betterment of the company. First, Scott Steiner and Sid are not allowed in the building tonight. These two are on a cooling off period, so no Big Poppa Pump and no Kicker Be Kicking tonight on Thunder, guys. I'm sorry. Secondly, Flair has no problems with Scott Steiner being WCW champion, but Ric's not happy with Scott failing to live up to the Nature Boy's expectations. The new champion's supposed to lift the company up, but instead Steiner's dragging WCW down. He went after Arn Anderson last week, a man who had to retire due to a serious neck injury. This is not the kind of thing the flag bearer of a pro wrestling company should be doing, and therefore Ric is suspending Big Poppa Pump and he's stripping him of the WCW title. Bit hasty, but okay. Mike Sanders comes out and he reminds Ric that the Starrcade main event is already booked. Ric Flair is not making a business decision by taking the belt away from Scott, he's making a personal decision. Mike says deep down Ric Flair is jealous, he's scared, he's afraid of Scott Steiner because Scott's got a better body than Ric, he gets more women than Ric, and Scott Steiner's a true athlete unlike the Nature Boy. Ric says Sanders is getting good, his promo delivery was spot on, but Mike will never see the top of a career like Ric Flair's and he won't see around it either. Mike's got himself a nice little spot in WCW while Ric Flair's done it all. Mike is indeed the commissioner, but Sanders wasn't quick enough to discipline Scott, so the ruling stands. Scotty Steiner is no longer WCW champion. Arn Anderson then appears on the Turner Vision and he says he'll happily walk down there right now and beat the crap out of Mike. But more importantly, Anderson wants to tell the CEO something. Scott Steiner may be hurting a lot of people, he may have hurt the enforcer, but Anderson's known Scott for a long time and he's seen the look in his eyes on Monday night. He's turning into an animal and he's going to turn into his own worst enemy. Anderson pleads for Ric not to suspend Scott and instead Ric should let Big Poppa Pump self-destruct. Guys like Booker T, Sting or Sid will be able to take the belt away from Scott, and beating Scott for that belt will hurt him way more than suspending him. Scott's worked his entire career to get that championship belt, and when he loses it in the ring, it's pretty much going to ruin him. Ric says Anderson just made some really valid points. Mike's right too, the Starrcade match is already booked. So Mr. Jump the Gun says Scott is still champion and the Starrcade match is back on. So it was a big old waste of time. I mean, Arn Anderson's promo was good, I guess, but this could have been covered in a backstage promo. Just have Ric say Scott and Sid are suspended for one night and job done. Hell yeah, Jindrak and O'Hare versus Noble and Karagias. Just noticing that Noble and Karagias is a great tag team name, though I don't think either man is actually very noble nor courageous. The babyfaces get dumped out of the ring so the Thrillers can do a little posing. The good guys try to springboard their way back into the ring, but Evan slips. His recovery was spot on though. Neckbreaker from Karagias. Evan then dumps his own partner on top of Mark, and things go downhill again when Mark tries to dump Jamie out of the ring and it doesn't look so hot. Man, I was building these young cats up at the top of this video and now they're making me look like an idiot. Noble pulls off a top rope clothesline. Glory Hog Evan tags in because he wants to pull off a springboard clothesline. Jamie comes back in so he can take a springboard clothesline from Jindrak. And sorry, you're going to need to change it up a bit, boys. In comes Sean O'Haire to save the day with a sit-down gorilla press slam. He and Mark then get together for a double slam on young Jamie Noble, and Sean then pulls off a middle rope rolling neck snap. Good stuff. Mark's in again with a tilt-a-whirl slam, and all hope seems to be lost for the babyface team. That is until Jamie delivers an enziguri and Evan Karagias gets a hot tag. Evan delivers a few drop kicks. His facebuster counter from a wheelbarrow suplex looked a bit shaky, but things get a bit spicier when he and Jamie use a ladder they found under the ring. The Thrillers get taken out and the babyfaces are now in a real good position, but they begin arguing amongst themselves about who to attack next, and this allows O'Haire to hit you guessed it, a double clothesline. Some good stuff next, with Karagias taking a double bail into the ring and Noble follows suit. The elevation Jamie gets is pretty insane. And our match ends with Jamie taking a top rope hurricane runner from Jindrak, and O'Haire finishes the job with a Swanton bomb. This Thunder match pretty much encapsulates the young stars of WCW. What they can do in the ring is pretty brilliant, but they do make small mistakes pretty often. Though this is simply an experience thing, and the more these guys would work, the better they'd get. Sean O'Haire is the big standout though, for me anyway. The guy can do a lot for someone his size. Crowbar and Daphne are going to provide commentary for our next match, and Mr. Bars picked out an outfit for Daphne to wear tonight. She looks super uncomfortable coming out of this hippie gear, but I guess she'll do anything to be closer with Crowbar. We've got Sergeant AWOL versus Bam Bigelow. The winner's going to get a shot at the hardcore title. These two have met in the ring quite a few times now, and the guys put a lot of toys in the ring before getting underway. Bigelow gets the better of the wall, brother with a trash can shot. AWOL takes a corner splash. Bam uses a bacon tray to do some damage, and so AWOL sticks a broomstick right up Bam's wee beast from the east, and the MIA's muscle takes control. Honestly, it's your usual bollocks here, and as much as I want to get into every match I cover in this series, these kind of showdowns are just totally unremarkable. I mean, anyone can swing weapons, anyone can take a guardrail bump, and anyone can get thrown into the commentary table. Daphne's face says it all right here, and even Tony Jabroni says, "Welcome to the broadcast table. This happens a lot." AWOL uses Crowbar's wrench to do some damage, but all it takes is a low blow to put Bigelow back in the driver's seat. AWOL takes a chair shot. We've got more guardrail bumps. Both guys try to suplex each other through a table, but in the end, Mike Awesome shows up and both competitors get put through the wood. Neither man can get to their feet after a count of 10, and I really want to believe the ref's going to rule this one as a double knockout and not a double countout because, you know, it's a hardcore match after all. But WCW's audio is so terrible that I can't make out what Dave Penzer says after the bell, so either way, we have no winner. We don't know who the number one contender is, but seeing as Bigelow's facing Mike Awesome at Starrcade, I'd assume we can rule out the beast from the east. Terrible match, by the way. No need to watch this one at all. We've got a 6-man tag next. Team Canada taking on Ernest Miller and the Young Dragons. Lance Storm admits that there's been some communication problems within Team Canada, but unlike the recent presidential election, these problems will be dealt with in a quick and swift manner. Jim Duggan's giving Lance a real dirty look here, so expect Hacksaw to leave his Canadian friends very soon. Lance wants the Canadian national anthem played, and our boy's doing everything in his power not to bust out laughing. I'd love to know what was so funny, but seeing Lance try not to laugh is absolutely hilarious. The Young Dragons, who Lance referred to as the Jung Dragons, interrupt the Canadian national anthem. Ernest Miller comes out and he says he's sick of hearing Team Canada's nonsense, so after he's done whooping their asses, he's gonna throw what's left into the audience and let the fans feast on their carcasses. Some quick-paced work from Kaz in primetime as the bell rings. Skipper pulls off his Matrix counter, and he doesn't care about taking a kick to the chin afterwards. The counter still looked really cool. Yang impresses with a head scissor takedown, but thanks to some help from Lance, Alex delivers a DDT and Yang gets planted right on the crown of his head. Some great high-risk, fast-paced action in this match, but here comes Hacksaw to bring it all to a screeching halt. Jim slams Yang into the corner a few times before wisely tagging out again. His time in the ring wasn't eventful, but hey, he's done more than Ernest Miller so far. In comes Lance to pick up the pace a little with a jawbreaker, but here comes Yang firing back with a crossbody. Duggan reaches out for a tag, but Lance is like, nah pal, not today. Lance applies the Canadian Maple Leaf, other competitors get in the ring and the move gets broken up with an enziguri from Kaz Hayashi. The Cat gets a hot tag and Miller takes on all 3 members of Team Canada, and after Duggan gets dumped out of the ring, Miller tries to focus on primetime, but Lance comes in to help his teammate. Team Canada are no match for Ernest Miller, and even worse, Jim Duggan hits Alex Skipper by accident with his 2x4. This allows Miller to hit a feeliner, and Team Canada take a loss. More communication problems from our Canadian friends, and at this point I think Major Guns would be a better tag team partner than Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Miller and Miss Jones celebrate with a dance inside the ring, and the Young Dragons join in on the action too. These boys can cut a rug with the best of them, and now I want a full show with nothing but Young Dragon dance moves. Mike Sanders takes on Chavo Guerrero while defending his Cruiserweight title, and man, anytime I see Sanders, all I can think about is how much potential this guy had. He was already better on the mic than half the roster, he had a good moveset, and he played his character very well. All this guy really needed was more experience and a bigger spotlight. The WWF did pick up his contract after the buyout, but he unfortunately didn't get out of developmental, so I guess the WWF didn't see much in him. Watch him suck a whole lot of ass in this match now that I've put him over. Come on Mike, don't let me down now boy. Chavo's in control right from the get-go. Above Average takes a hard chop, a European uppercut and a back suplex from Vito, but he gets a short break by ramming Chavo's head into the top turnbuckle. Mike then pulls off a fantastic pump handle fallaway slam, and yeah, it took both guys to make this look as good as it did. But the champ continues on with a snapmare, a stiff kick to the chest, and we get a dancey fist drop that, like most dancey moves, isn't very effective, but it does get a reaction. Chavo gets choked out on the mat, he gets choked out on the middle rope. Sanders applies a Cobra Clutch, and when Chavo gets out, he performs an Undertaker-like jumping clothesline. We go outside where Chavo delivers a plancha. Sanders goes back in control after a lariat. The champion then grabs his title belt and he puts it in the ring, but he doesn't get a chance to use it as Chavo counters a tornado DDT with a Northern Light suplex. Sanders gets angry, he lays the boots in and the referee has to pull Mike away. This allows Chavo to grab the Cruiserweight belt and Sanders gets whacked. Chavo pays homage to his Uncle Eddie by playing possum after taking Mike out. Sanders then loses the match and the Cruiserweight title after taking a brainbuster, and surprisingly, Mike doesn't use his power as WCW Commissioner to get the belt back. I mean, Chavo did cheat, so I'm surprised Mike isn't stripping his opponent of the belt. Remember, Mike did play a big role in getting the Insiders stripped of their tag belts. Chavo uses his post-match interview time to rub it into general erection. Yeah, that didn't sound right. Chavo says his new attitude got him the Cruiserweight belt, while Rexion's attitude's going to get him in the hospital. And as for Mike Sanders, well, Mike says Chavo's nothing, and Mike will get his championship belt back. Get the ketchup, grab your mustard, and hold on to your buns because we've got a big bratwurst on Thunder tonight and it's gonna be tasty. Daz Wunderkind takes on Buff Bagwell next on TBS, and gotta say, I'm enjoying this no-nonsense format for Thunder tonight. Match after match with a small promo here and there in between. I know I say it every time I cover Thunder, but my god, for a show that gets ragged on so much, it did have a much more digestible format in comparison to Monday Nitro. Disco joins the commentary table. Bagwell gets the crowd fired up only to take a European uppercut. You see, European uppercuts are 10 times more effective when performed by an actual European. Daz Wunderkind performs a high knee and the tip of his knob tickled Bagwell's nose, so Buff comes back with a neckbreaker, a lariat and a few mounted punches in the corner. Not to be outdone, Alex delivers a spinning wheel kick. He dodges a corner attack and Bagwell takes a backbreaker followed by an elbow drop. Buff then gets slammed to the mat as Alex looks to take to the skies, but Bagwell gets his feet up and the two share the advantage. Alex delivers a jawbreaker, Buff delivers a back body drop. Buff then performs a few Japanese arm drags, but he goes for a splash and Alex gets his knees up. Our match ends with Disco trying to interfere. He tries to trip Bagwell up, but the Inferno's weak effort results in Alex missing a dropkick. This allows Bagwell to perform the blockbuster to win the match. It's always a joy to see Alex in action, and a lot of seats were left soaking wet inside the arena, but this was a pretty standard match, not a lot to say. If the Boogie Nights are going to break up, then WCW should just pack their bags right now and call it a day. There's no hope of survival without this illustrious tag team. Oh boy, Big Vito versus Brian Clarke. Gonna be honest, I got a kick out of the Mama Luke's tag team, but Vito's become one of those pieces of furniture you look at your home while thinking to yourself, yeah, I should really replace that as soon as possible. At least we've got Big Brian Clarke in there, and this is another one of those guys I found a new appreciation for since beginning this long, time-consuming series. He and Brian Adams attack Vito before the opening bell, and inside the ring, Big Vito gets wrecked in the corner before taking a jumping shoulder block. Vito ducks a big boot, he puts Clarke down with a clothesline. We go outside where both guys get their heads smacked off the commentary table, but Vito forgot about Mr. Adams, who levels our Italian friend right on the head. Inside the ring, it's Vito now taking a clothesline. Clarke then tries to get creative in the corner by wrapping his leg around Vito's midsection while applying pressure. I mean, I get what he's doing and all, but it still looks shit. Vito then counters a suplex with a suplex of his own, and he thinks he's got it in the bag after a top rope elbow drop. Clarke kicks out at 2, he then performs the meltdown, and just like that, Big Vito gets pinned and Chronic reigns supreme. The two brands want to dish out a post-match beatdown, so here comes brother Reno to the rescue. It's a terrible rescue attempt though, because he ends up taking a full Nelson slam from Brian Adams. Marie comes out to check on Vito and Reno, and yes, I've confused this relationship between Vito, Reno and Marie, though I've had very good reason. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but Reno was originally dating Marie, right? The feud between Vito and Reno intensified when it was revealed that Marie was Vito's brother. It was then revealed that Reno and Vito were brothers. So was Marie dating her own brother, or maybe her stepbrother? Did WCW just retcon the original relationship and they just decided they're all just brothers and sister? Russo did have a thing for, questionable Jerry Springer-like storylines, but I think, and I hope, that WCW just wanted everyone to forget about the love interest stuff and they now want to focus on all three being a family. But man, for those who paid attention, this is kinda messed up. Something to also note is that Marie was previously called Maria, so perhaps the name change coincided with the change of storyline. I don't know. I'm hoping for the best here, folks. I'm hoping they're not keeping it in the family, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the Natural Born Thrillers aren't happy with Reno helping Big Vito. Reno says that Vito's his family, but the Thrillers say they are Reno's real family. This episode of Thunder ends with Shane Douglas cutting a promo, and then he does the job to Bill Goldberg. Look, it's not my fault, guys. I can only apologise for this company so many times. Douglas is still mad about General Rection hurting Tori Wilson. This was, of course, an accident, or at least the General didn't want to hurt Tori Wilson as bad as he did. But Shane wants revenge, and he's going to try to get that revenge at Starrcade 2000. Shane says, tonight on Thunder, his Destiny and Goldberg streak come head to head. The 28-0 win streak ends tonight in Lincoln, Nebraska, according to the franchise. And Shane wants the fans to chant Goldberg's name, and he wants Goldberg to come down for a fight. The franchise is going to win the US title at Starrcade. He's going to end Goldberg's career right now. So Billy Boy makes his long entrance from the dressing room to the ramp, and I've absolutely no idea why Shane's pulling this face right here. He just told Goldberg to come out. He said he was going to end the streak, so why does he look so surprised? Douglas smiles on the outside though as he wraps a small chain around his fist. He gets in the ring and he tries to hide it from Billy Boy. And hey, mission accomplished. Goldberg gets whacked 3 times and Goldberg falls to the one knee. But Billy Boy's gonna no-sell it and Shane gets planted on the canvas. Good try, franchise. We cut to the entranceway where we see Lex Luger applying the torture rack to the Sarge. Problem is, Goldberg can't get himself counted out or he'll lose his career. So Shane tries to take advantage with a franchiser and Goldberg's counter was pretty interesting. You better hit that spear and jackhammer pretty quickly, Billy Boy, so you can save your very unlikable mentor, but Goldberg can't help himself. He has to scream and snarl in between the spear and the jackhammer, though after winning the match he does dash up to the Sarge to see if he's okay. Perfect time for Luger to launch a sneak attack, but it doesn't happen. Instead, Goldberg says he's not going to wait until Starrcade, and Bill's coming after the total package on next week's episode of Monday Nitro. WCW as a company is failing right now. Folks are showing up to work knowing that the plug could get pulled at any time. They're fully aware that there's interest in selling the company, and the Monday Night War is no longer competitive. WCW aren't even fighting for survival now. They're just waiting for some sort of catastrophic announcement to be made, which must be an absolutely terrible place to be right now, especially for folks who have families. One good thing you can pull out of all this is the fact that the young guys in WCW are getting plenty of TV time, and they're getting a chance to show what they can do if given the opportunity. This episode of Thunder did showcase some of that young talent quite well. Yes, experience is an issue and the guys aren't really where they need to be, but it kinda gives you hope that when the plug does get pulled, some of these young guys might get picked up by the WWF, or they might carry on getting experience elsewhere while still earning money. Anyway, put all that aside, and yeah, not a bad episode of Thunder right here. No real standout matches, but nothing that was utterly dire either. The main event sucked, but that just comes with the territory nowadays when we talk about WCW. It might actually be better watching the matches in reverse order so you don't build yourself up for disappointment. But thank you very much for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this one, and please take care.